So we're back out here again today, getting after it. If you're ever curious, like, does he just wear the same shirt every day? Yes, the answer is yes. Hashtag COVID-19. So back out here today, this windshield I got, this windshield for my motorcycle is an aftermarket windshield, and the bike, I bought the bike from a guy who's a bit taller than I am. So anyhow, I need to cut this thing down because it's just too tall. One of the nice things about my motorcycle is it has a windshield that moves up and down at the push of a button, which is quite cool. I'll show you in a moment. But anyhow, even at its lowest setting, it's too tall. And if I'm gonna be riding 4,000 miles, that is not gonna work. So, following some online tutorials, figuring this out as I go. From what they say on the internet, you're typically looking at a minimum about 50 feet in front of you when you're riding. And you want your windshield to be just below your eyes at 50 feet. So I'm gonna go sit on my bike and then see where this thing is. And wherever I look through the windshield while I'm down there will be where I need to cut it off, or need to cut it down, I guess. So one of the cool things about my bike in particular, this is the executive model, which means that when you push this button, the side mirrors pop out, but also, check this out, you can adjust your windscreen to move up or down if you want more wind or less wind in your face. Fancy! In other news, this is a parking lot a lot of people use when they're teaching their kids how to drive, and that just happened. Oh, rough day. She just got started. She already wrecked the car. All right, back to figuring this thing out. So here you can see that this thing should be right about where my height is. I should be able to sit. So right, that little like, I don't know, what do you call that? The 50-foot mark should be right above that line. That means I got a lot to cut off on that windshield. Believe me when I tell you that there are other things I would rather be doing on Memorial Day, i.e. spending time with my friends or family on a lake. But, not gonna lie to you, not far down that list would be a trip to Harbor Freight. Buying all the crap to get my motorcycle squared away. All right, step one in cutting down my windshield is gonna require that I cover the entire thing in tape. No Memorial Day project is off on the right foot without an awesome hat, some classic rock music, and well, if you're in the South, some freaking bugs. Guys, everywhere. They're biting my arm, annoying me. Anyhow, this is progress. I decided to put the screen back on the bike for stability. The reason that you the reason that you put painter's tape over the front and the back, I've also put it on the back side, is because this plexiglass will crack. And this should help keep that from happening. We'll see what happens. I watched a YouTube video, you know. So you can see right, this is the mark, right? I've got a good 4.5, 5 inches that I'm gonna cut off. My plan is to cut off the top, make some practice cuts off the top, and then I'm gonna take this part that I cut off and I'm gonna pull it down. I'm gonna use that as a template for the next area. But just a CYA, cover your ass, I'm gonna do a paper template on the back side of this, just in case. All right, so I just outlined this here, so I have a pattern in case plan A doesn't work. All right, so I got my template right here, right? Here we go. This thing right here is 4 and 3/16 inches down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to my paper, and I'm gonna cut 4 and 3/16 inches up to there. All right, so I wanna shave 4 and 3/16 inches off the top of my windshield, right? Here's the template. This is 4 and 3/16 inches. I'm gonna shave this off, or cut that off piece of paper off, and that will allow me to bring this down and create a new template. All right, so I got my template. All I gotta do is follow this little pattern. That's way up there, that's where it was previously. Let's get it right, it's backwards. Come down 4 inches and 3/16. Hopefully we're cooking with butter. If that ends up making a difference, I'm gonna be pissed. All right, so the next thing I need to do with my double sunglasses is put some tape on this jigsaw so that when I run it across here, less chance of scratching it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a couple practice right here. I don't know the last time I used a jigsaw is. Let me rephrase it. I'm not sure if I've ever used a jigsaw. But I saw this on YouTube once, so here we go. So I'm looking at the detail of this. One of the things that I don't like, see how thin that area is right there? Instead of, I mean, ideally I'd love to match whatever came from factory, right? But that's really gonna be difficult to cut that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift my template over to the right and have this angle come a little more down here. All right, now we're cooking with butter, see? I moved that template over, and now instead of having to come all the way down here, which was unlikely to keep that straight, I've only gotta go right there. A little bit nicer. It'll be wider at the top, but that's all right. All right, that might have been my first time. Let's take a look. A little rough right there. You can see a little couple dips here, but I've got some sanding paper I'm gonna bring in here. Really kind of botch that up. I'm gonna have to come back in here and get a little bit tighter on this edge right here. Try and meet that spot right there. But that's like $300 in savings right there. I'll do it. Now I'll just take this handy dandy file and I'll go around these edges and patch up those rough spots before I get a little more granular with some, what do they call that stuff? Sandpaper. All right, so I started off with that rougher file, went down to 200 grit sandpaper, and you can remember where that little spot was? Can't even hardly see it now. It's right there. You can barely see it if you're looking real close. A little dip right there, but otherwise that looks really good. So my original plan was to cut this off and then bring it down here and create the pattern, but I decided to just go with the paper one, and you can see, I mean, this is obviously, I'm a little more square than I was previously. That tapers off quite a bit more. But you know what? If I ever want to come back and be like, hey, like, let's make it look more sporty, I can hang on to this thing and see what happens. But let's get this tape off and see what it looks like. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. It feels amazing to do something with your hands. Pretty smooth. I mean, that's factory. Look at that. A couple of tiny little blemishes, like there. There's one right there, but for all intents and purposes, man, I'm pretty stoked. By the way, Guy Rhodes, those are for you, brother. Hope you enjoyed them. All right, kids, hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm gonna finish off this Memorial Day with a beer with my good buddy Mesh. Feel the wind blowing in our face.